Welcome to the Spurs News Podcast, your home for all things Tottenham Hotspur. Now, here are your hosts.
Hello everybody and welcome to a new episode of the Spurs News Podcast. I am Sam. Today is the first week of guest host season. Stephan is on his hollybobs, which he hates that expression, that's why I'm using it. And joining me as the first guest host over the Christmas period, it's my older brother. It's Robbie. Hello, mate.
Hey, buddy, how you doing, all right?
Yeah, good. It's strange, this. This is weird.
Well, yeah, no, we don't normally talk ever.
No.
Talk on a podcast, especially about our beloved Tottenham.
There was that one time at Christmas, remember? We talked then, that was nice.
That one time at band camp.
Yeah,
I remember.
No, that's a very different story. So welcome to the show. This is episode 290 I've done of this.
Wow, you've done all those without me.
I have, and I finally reached the point where there was no one left to ask.
I was the end of a long line.
You got it, yeah. It's good. It's good that you recognise that and you're okay with it, because otherwise it'd be upsetting.
Well, you probably would have got Sol Campbell on before me.
Now, this straight away, I need to inform you that we don't really have language rules here on the show, but that is banned. That C word is banned.
Jesus.
Yeah, that one.
Yes. Yes, I remember that.
What a great question that is. If he was available to do an interview, genuinely, would you want to interview him? And if you were, what would be your first question?
So when did you discover you had no spine? Would probably be the first question. How did you run around all that time, with no spine?
How were you able to stay upright with no spinal cord?
You weaselly little bugger. I curtailed my language then.
You did, well done. I honestly don't know. I don't think I could, because I'd want to, if you're going to interview someone, you'd want to do it with a level of kind of decency, I guess, or just kind of, you want to do it to a level of doing the interview.
Professionalism.
I don't think I could with him. I genuinely hate him that much.
I think the thing with him, who should not be muttered, the great thing with him, now let me finish that sentence, is that if you just let him talk, he hangs himself. Like the things he does, you just think, like, even, the red half of the world that we won't talk about, even they must listen to him sometimes and think, what?
I think that's true, but I think he is just a walking laugh joke for them that they will always have.
Yeah.
Something that's interesting in doing this show is that obviously you get generations of people listening. Also, you get people, fans of Tottenham from all around the world. And to them, it doesn't have that same feeling. Like we got a lot of people listen to this in America, Canada, dotted all around the place. And they're obviously very connected to the club, support the club, but they don't have that same. So I always tried to kind of explain it to people in, like, you have to imagine the feeling that we went through at that time. And
I think it's that thing, isn't it? It's like, I think you had to have been around at that point. And I mean, when I say around, I don't like being a fan from over the other side of the world is different. And I think it's like having a child and bringing them up to the best of your ability, and then
them saying they support Arsenal. Yeah, can you imagine?
It just shouldn't happen. Or them taking a big dump on you, which is like probably nicer than what he did.
And a very niche website to visit. Anyway, back to football. I on the show, typically we have a chat about the recent games. We run through it, like our opinions on stuff. We take listener questions and things. I don't know about you, but I really don't want to talk about that Forest game. Like, there is no part of me that
I think the
wants
sad
to go
thing
over it.
at the moment is there's not much to talk about.
No.
There's not, it's like I've been a Spurs fan for 50 years now.
Yeah.
And, at least, like, for example, like we've come on and we've talked about what's his face.
Yeah.
So, but that's because it still fires something in me. At the moment, I think the problem with what's happening is it's just it's not even
true,
it's not even getting anger out of me.
Do you know, it's funny because we've obviously got the Facebook page with like 90,000 people on it. We got Instagram, like 30 or 40,000. Like we have interactions with a lot of Spurs fans, and on the podcast we get a lot of messages come in, and it's interesting how many have gone from annoyance to that meh feeling.
Yeah, I mean, with the Spurs fan always says the hope that kills you, but like there isn't even that thought that. Like, I really wanted Frank to work.
I know.
But I mean, I want every manager to work.
Yeah.
The thing with Ange was, so at least I believed him. When
absolutely. Yeah.
I think if you were, going into battle, like, you'd have, like, he'd say something and you think, oh, what? I wouldn't mind running for a brick wall for you, mate.
Have you seen the Mickey van der Ven interview with Gary Neville?
Do you know what? Fair enough, I watched it last night.
Yeah.
And I love Mickey van der Ven. I mean, who doesn't love Mickey van der Ven?
Agreed.
But I like him even more now. It's his dad.
Yeah, that was interesting. His dad was like that was quite an interesting duo.
Yeah, he was part of the Secret Service, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, so the whole thing that he didn't do Frank down.
No.
But he didn't speak about him in the same way as he spoke about Ange.
I'm glad you said that, because I think people have got such an opinion of me now of what I say about Thomas Frank that if I said that, they'd roll their eyes. It was almost like an affection.
I've rolled my eyes at you around Thomas Frank.
Of course, yeah. But there is an element of affection you could see with this kind of, things are different now. This is what we're doing, and this is what we're attempting. And then it was like, oh, and what about with Ange? And it was like, oh, it was amazing, And did you catch the bit where he talked about the style of football? Because Neville wasn't really having a dig, but was kind of like, oh, if you just change this, maybe he'd still be in the job and stuff. And he kind of said, I would still choose that football. I still believe in that system. I thought that was quite telling.
And, there's a couple of things. I think I don't know whose decision it was. And it's sort of been put that it was Levy's.
It was, yes.
Decision.
There is pretty clear reporting on that now that he made the call.
And listen, the Forest thing, him going to Forest Delight, that was just a complete brain fart. Yeah, I think Ange just wanted to get back in a job and stick his finger up and go, screw you, but wrong job, wrong time, everything.
Yeah, I agree.
I think if he'd have got his third season, because there's this thing about Ange not having a plan B. And listen, I went to games and I looked at it and I thought at times, sit on it.
Yeah.
But it's like, careful what you wish for, because we were all of us, and I've been at the ground, and I don't want to mention another unmentionable character within the Spurs history. But certain football, you think, the Conte thing, that rant that he had, I got to be honest, part of me was sat there going, yep. What you're saying, I don't like the way you're doing it.
No.
But I think you're on your way out. You want to get out, and whatever. But we all, like, I don't know about you, but there's a lot of people didn't know a lot about Ange when he came over. Only the Celtic thing.
Yeah.
But then you watch stuff, and it's like his bullishness about we're going to do this way, and if Plan A doesn't work, we just need to do Plan A better.
Which a lot of people forget was very much Pochettino as well.
Yeah.
And is very much Pep. Is very much like the top managers have a system and a style they believe in, and their whole philosophy is, we will do this so well, it doesn't matter what you do.
Well, I looked at it like, so for the same way. So I can remember, and you'll know this, but the listeners won't. But I sing in a band, and we had a sound engineer who'd come round with us, right? And the band used to moan at me about him, and I go, we've either got to trust that what he's hearing and what he's doing is right, or sack him. There's no middle ground, because how do you convince somebody, like what you're hearing is wrong?
Yeah,
or
agreed,
or what you believe is wrong. So for that and that alone, I think he should have. I think he showed that he could shut up shop.
He did,
because I mean, probably the worst final I've ever seen.
Yeah.
In terms of an actual game, but like, did I care? Did I?
No.
Hell.
No.
And like when we scored the goal.
Yeah.
You could see the team go, we ain't losing this.
Yeah.
And I think Mickey van der Ven said that.
He
said, the fuck are we losing this game? Blah, blah, blah. And it was like, yeah. So he showed he could do that. And I think if he was just given, I think, a season of the back four
being fit,
and a few players being added that he wanted.
Because that's the key thing about the players. Because his first window, Ange, was very good. The second window just didn't help him at all. Not
so good. I mean, can you imagine what he would have done? Because there's this money coming in.
Yeah.
I saw a report yesterday from a rag newspaper with a red top, that DJ's still interested in putting together a consortium and all the rest of it. And I just think if Ange had have had the money to go and get who he wanted, he probably would have done right. Now listen, we can't say that Frank wouldn't, because this is the one thing that sort of keeps me hopeful, is that Frank's had one transfer window, and he hasn't had a lot of luck. Because I look here and I look at my team and go, right, the back four.
Yeah.
And when I talk about the back four, I talk about Porro, Cootie, Mickey, and not Spence.
Udogie. Yeah. Udogie, yeah.
Yeah, I know his name. I just didn't want to,
Yeah.
I think those four, when they're all on song, like who would I swap either centre half for?
No.
I'm not sure there is anyone actually now that I would. All right, the Vicario argument, I think he's saved our asses on so many occasions this year, and then on the odd time he's made a few blunders that's overshadowed that.
Yeah.
So it was, but I think you look at the team, like the thing with Frank is that he just doesn't know who his 11 is, and he's got a good back four. I think he doesn't know who he wants to put in a sitting midfield position. Obviously brought Paulinho in, which I think was having a great start to the season, but putting him and Benson Kerr together, it just stifles our creativity. I would really love to see what's his name, the Swedish lad?
Kulusevski.
No. The other one.
Bernabeu.
Yeah. So, like, I would love to see him get a run in the side as the number 8.
Yeah.
Alongside Xavi and either Benson or Paulinho.
Yeah.
I know he's given that sort of role to Archie Gray at the moment.
Yeah.
But I think that lad is just he
is very good. Yeah.
And he's only going to be better with games, but he needs to run a games. But then you go through it and like Richarlison is not a striker.
No.
Like he does some things and you think, whoa, Jesus Christ, like that first goals of the season he got.
Yeah.
And you think, wow, it's amazing. And the one against the Scum, he scored.
Yeah.
Like, there's probably not going to be a better goal scored this season.
Yeah.
But consistently, like, I mean, he's on his ass more than anywhere else, you know. I said to you, like, at the moment, without Dom and without, you know, with Richarlison being the way he is, who's our best finisher at the club?
Brennan Johnson.
Yeah. Try him in as a false nine or whatever, or at least put him in that position. Just like, all I want you to do, Brennan, is we'll play balls over the top. You put him in the back of the net, son. Give him that. Yeah. Like, why haven't you tried it?
Well, it's interesting, like the balls over the top or just the through balls thing, because we just simply are not doing that. Like, there is no the whole. There's a Opta do brilliant statistics stuff. You can follow their accounts, but you can actually go onto their website into the sort of like Tottenham stuff, and you can really take a deep dive on this. And the whole thing about it at the moment is the XG statistic, which is we are not creating chances. So therefore our expected goals is very low. So it's this constant debate over, you know, what's going on. And when you look at the attempted through balls and stuff like that in, 16 Premier League games now, we've attempted 6 through balls.
Mm-hmm.
That is by far the lowest in the Football League, not just the Premier League.
So I used to be a striker. That was my position. And I think the problem you've got is we haven't got an old-fashioned striker. So Dom, great at holding it up. Yep. Holding it up, give it off, hold it up, give off, you know, and then go for headers or whatever. Yeah. We haven't got that sort of Michael Owen-esque, like, just knock it through, I'll get on the end of it. Yeah. I mean, nobody's got it anymore. But the problem there is, like, Richarlison, they're all coming deep to get involved in the game, and then there's no outball then anyway. So the reason we're not doing that is because what's the point?
I know what you're saying that, but I mean, it's basically tactically we're not doing it. You've got Dane Scarlett, who can play that way. You've got Colin Moani, who is rapid and can play that way. And as you just said then, you've got Brennan Johnson, who doesn't seem to be able to use his pace to beat people, but a through ball...
But there's a sniff of a goal.
Yeah.
He's on it like Sonic, isn't he? Yeah. So...
I don't understand... Like, and it's this kind of... The thing I've said to you a number of times, and I've said it on the show, by this point at Christmas time, we should be able to see a style of play thing. Now, I don't like the way Jose had us play. I didn't really like the way Conte had us play. Definitely didn't like the other one. And it was a case of, all right, but I can see it. Like, I can see Jose wants us to be solid, deep thing, counter-attack. You watch Sonny and Kane score for fun in that system. It made sense. We knew what we were doing. Conte, it was the sort of wing backs. They're going to provide it. They're getting on the back. Like, it made like you could see it. We could see what we were doing. The other one wasn't there long enough, and so you just got this kind of. And Ange, obviously, we knew exactly what we were doing. Those first 10 games, we blew the league apart because the inverted fullback and everything. It was great. Now, so what my point is on this is, like, we should be by this point. And I remember when Pochettino first took charge, the results weren't good. Like, we were not winning every week. We weren't playing well every week. But you could see... Sacked, wasn't he? Yeah, but you could see, oh, okay, I can see what we're trying to... I can see where we're trying to go. I can see the style of football we're trying to play. He just can't, like... Because you got to remember, he inherited a squad of absolute mercenaries. It was Adebayor was in the side,
which he got rid of. He was the highest paid player at the club at the time.
Yeah, I mean, it was after that first season. Obviously, the board, Levy, etc., thought they saw enough of, like, okay, we're going to back you, because it was like Night of the Long Knives. He got rid of 9 players in a week, and these were players who were at the club a long time, like Aaron Lennon. Just basically just didn't buy in, so they were gone, and he replaced them with academy players. I remember the start of that second season, he was playing Eric Dyer, who we'd signed as like an academy centre-back, We'd seen him play right back, and he was playing defensive midfield. And we were all watching it going, well, this is just a disaster. Like, come on, Tottenham, have we got no money to spend? What's going on? And it was a revelation. We were great. So
what's weird? It's weird because if you think about that midfield, so you've got centre half playing as a defensive midfielder. I mean, Moussa Dembele, who I think not from Tottenham fans, but I think he's the most underrated midfielder of his generation. He was a ball carrier. Like, you give him the ball, he wouldn't lose it.
Did you know he holds a record in all of the top European leagues for going the most amount of games without losing the ball?
It was legend. Absolute legend.
It was incredible.
And then you had Ericsson and Dele Alli, and it's like, what position would you say they were?
They just interchanged 10 and wide all the time.
Exactly. And like, would you say that Ericsson was a wide player?
No, not even a little bit.
But if you look at where he played, and it's like, what is the system? I'm not really sure. Like, really, Dele Alli was like sort of 10 shadow striker.
Yeah,
would you call it that? I don't know. But what he did was work out a way of it all working.
It was runs from deep with
Dele.
And
he was given time for that. To be fair,
yeah.
And I guess the hope is, obviously we got V9 now who stuck by what's his face over the road. And I think that's the thinking that they're going along. Now I'm not like yourself in that, like, let's get rid of him now.
No, I know. Yeah.
My big issue with getting rid of him now is like, who the hell is going to come in and make it, any better? Now, it was suggested the other day Robbie Keane could come in.
I think that's I think
romantic,
Spurs fans
gesture. It was actually Ramon Vega who said it.
Yeah, but he says a lot of things. Some of it very sensible, but you throw enough shit at a wall.
I think he was Robbie Keane's mate as well.
Very much so. Yeah, probably his agent.
And I guess if you were, going to go, right, just get us to the end of the season and until a Pochettino or, it's been on the radio this morning that Glasner is going to be available in the summer.
Yeah, he's out of contract in Palace, but I mean, they're working over, as you can well imagine, trying to tie him down. But he's being sensible. He's holding off because he probably knows there are other jobs available in England.
There's a big job coming.
Yeah.
Whether it be Chelsea.
Well, Chelsea changed their managers like socks. We are not that different.
Like pants.
Yeah. And Man United is still very much a question mark as well, because
I think possibly he's looking at that Man United job going, that could well come available. But I mean, even though they've said, oh no, he's going to be our manager for 3 years, that's it, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I mean, Glasner I think would be great. But if you look at Glasner and the way he plays, like that Palace side, you look at him, you think, well, who plays where? Like, I can't quite work it out. You can, but it's like they're all interchangeable and they've all bought into whatever the idea is.
See, now this is the thing that I keep pointing towards, and this is the thing I keep trying to discuss with people. And again, so this kind of dovetails this quite nicely. I'd like to see at this point of the tenure of any coach, any manager, an idea of a system. Not it doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be implemented like brilliantly, but I'd like to see, okay, I know how we're trying to play at this point, and I don't see that. With Glasner and coaches of his quality, when you give them time, it becomes like a machine where the players are just simply cogs in that machine. And that's not to like talk down players like SA and people like that who were part of it, but they've not
gone and they're still doing it.
Yeah, they're not really going backwards. Now, if you look at Brighton, you look at Bournemouth, you look at the clubs who recruit incredibly well, they all have their style of play and stuff, and they recruit permanently to fit that style. Mm-hmm. With Tottenham, if you look over our last 5 managers who were appointed full-time, there is no continuity in style there at all. across all of them. In fact, going from Conte to Ange and then from Ange to Thomas Frank is such a drastic
swing.
It's insane if you think about it. How can a director of football, any director of football, regardless your opinion of them, put together a squad when, that's insane? And when you look at...
this is the problem Amarin's having.
Yeah.
At United.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm playing this way, tough shit. And you've got to admire him almost.
Yeah.
Because it's like, no, this is the way I'm playing. And, it may take 3, 4, 5 windows before I've got the players to fit that. But then they'll probably sack him.
Which is
that's why I think they might go for Glasner.
Yeah.
Because he plays 3-4-3, doesn't he? So I think it'll be like, right, okay, Amarin's bought the players, but Glasner's going to come in and make the team tick.
I think Amarin's got a slight problem there because he is stubborn, which I don't hate him for or anything like that, and I don't think he comes across badly in the press, but he does seem to have pissed a lot of Man United fans off. I think that's a slight problem for him. But then the ownership also have pissed off a lot of Man United fans, and I think that's kind of taken it off him a little bit. But yeah,
the thing is his stubbornness, or what, if that's what if people want to call it that, his stubbornness means that he won't play players like Maino, for example.
Yeah.
And if you look at Man United's history, what they're about, it's recruiting from within. Whether you take it from the class of '92, the Busby Babes, whatever you call them, it's and Maino is part of that.
They've got the longest running record of world football of having an academy player in the side all the time, every season.
And that's what the history of Man United is. Yeah. And if you get a manager in who goes, well, I'm going to forget that, and this is the way I do it, which you've got to admire him for, it's not going to work. It's that horses for courses, isn't it? And I think the problem with our club, coming back to it, is who fits us. And I think what they've done is gone, right, who's doing all right, who's doing a good job with little resources, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And you can't argue that is what Thomas Frank has done.
But this is this is an interesting question I'll put to you, because this is something I see being debated quite a lot, which is, in my opinion, Tottenham are of a calibre and a size of club that is bigger than Brentford. That's my opinion. People can argue it, and that's fine. I put us into the kind of top 6 bracket of the top sides in the Premier League. I put us into this bracket just due to the fan base, the fact we've just won the Europa League, we're in the Champions League. Therefore, there should be, the financial powerhouse that the club is, we should be sort of up on this shelf here. Now, for Brentford, who have spent the vast majority of their footballing lives not in the top flight, to not only achieve top flight status but then maintain it comfortably is a phenomenal achievement. And that should never be, like, the job he did at Brentford should never be looked down upon, even if it doesn't work with us, if you see what I mean. Like, that should be held in high regard. My issue is that I'm being told constantly that he is a great manager and all of this kind of stuff, and I'm like, I don't see it. It's like levels to this game. At Brentford, achieving that's great, but Brentford need to kick on now. Like, if you interact with Brentford fans at all, they're all actually kind of quite happy that he left. Not in a kind of like good riddance, but in a kind of like, we needed the change. Like, it was very stale. And their best ever achievement is mid-table in the Premier League. So him as a manager, he's never won a trophy. He's never managed in Europe until this season, and we handed him the Champions League. And forget that kind of it, but the aspect of managing a 4-competition season, he's never done, which is, Daniel Levy said he fired Ange because he clearly couldn't handle that, and then hire someone who's never done it. It was a bizarre thing for me. But, like, do you see what I'm saying with this? Is like...
Yeah, I think the way I would describe this is like, so for example, again, sorry to harp on about the fact that I'm in a band, but like I used to get really ratty with certain members of the band because they weren't putting effort in, or I felt they weren't putting effort in. Now, I'll get to the point. I can remember waking up one day going, actually, do you know what? They're giving me 100%.
Yeah.
But their 100% is not the same as my 100%.
Yeah.
And I have to understand that so Thomas Frank's 100% great job got Brentford to mid-table.
Yeah.
Now, you could argue, you could go, well, what could he do with better resources? What could he do with this, that, and the other? However, if you look at Brentford as a club, and they're an extremely well-run club, and if you look at the players they bring through and sell on, he probably has had the same resources at Brentford as we've got to give him.
Depressingly similar recruitment,
Like Brighton, same. Like so, it could be argued that Brighton even have, like, because of their model and everything, they've got a better, way of doing it. But so this argument that well, let's see what he can do with better resources. He isn't getting better resources at Tottenham. He's getting a bigger stadium, and he might even get bigger money, but the people who are making the decisions about the players and they're not much better than Brentford, sadly.
No.
So therefore, how can we expect him to do any better than mid-table?
There's a question.
Right. So this is the point. So it's like, who is it we're going to get? Like I've loved Tottenham all my life, and what I always loved about Tottenham, that to dare us to do, right? Like that, and they've said it. This should be the core of our decision. Even Frank has said it. This should be the core. I remember, like in 1986, 87. Right, we were one of the first clubs, if not the first, to just play one striker. We played five in midfield, and that's because we had Hoddle, Waddle, Ardiles, Paul Allen. We had all these stunningly gifted midfielders that would interchange. Like Ardiles used to sit in a.
I want to say Mickey Hazard because
in a deeper role, a midfield playmaker. I guess they were like deep line playmaker.
Yeah,
and it's like. And like to watch that game, like I can remember when I was a kid watching it, going because everybody in the football league at that point had two strikers.
Yeah,
and I do miss that, because that big one, little one, creator, goal scorer, Beardsley and Lineker, for England. Wow, but Beardsley was like a midfield player, really.
Yeah, he's what we class as a number 10 now, like a Xavi.
Exactly, but we had Hoddle. But did he play in a number 10? Well,
no, I don't think so.
He would interchange, and it was just. So we've always been this sort of club that was a bit of a trailblazer club, and we're not that now.
No,
and it's like, why have we got to play? Like, why don't we? So the thing with Ange, he was of that mindset.
He was.
It's like our fullbacks are going to be number 10s.
Yeah.
And then you're like, what the bloody hell is this? Yeah. And it made us different. And I know we finished 17th, but that was a false dawn.
Yeah.
And other fans would go, Christ, you just have to accept that you're a 17th place club. That's why you're struggling now.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't have to accept that because we're actually not.
No, I agree.
I know that he knew, and I think Mickey van der Ven said it.
He did say it, yeah.
He knew we were safe. Yeah. And he wrapped those two guys up in Cornwall and went, go and win that. Because that's what Spurs fans have been saying they're crying out for.
Yep.
And honestly, did we give a shit that we were 17th when that parade was on?
I said this on the podcast a few times, which is, in years to come, no one will remember the league place. Like, You've watched us lift trophies and stuff like that. The FA Cup 1991. Where did we finish in the league? Do you remember? Do you care?
and one of the things I remember most about it is the free kick against Arsenal in the semi-final. Yeah. It's
moments.
Even can you remember who scored the goals in the final?
Lineker. No, hang on. The final was a Des Walker own goal that won it for us. I know that. Was it?
What was the score?
It was 1-1, and then it went to extra time, and then it was 2-1.
Was it, or was it 3-1?
No. That's the semi-final was 3-1, but in the final, Lineker was the first player to have a penalty saved. I know that.
But this is the point. I'm being facetious because
you're absolutely right. You don't care. We won, and that's what matters. We won the League Cup when we beat Leicester in the final. I think it was a crappy diving header from Alan Nielsen from memory.
Yeah, I remember it.
We beat Chelsea. We enjoyed that game with your Chelsea supporting mate. So that was fun. But I like this is the thing. It's like these are the moments you remember. I don't remember where we finished in the league any of those seasons, and I know in a couple of seasons' time, no one's going to give a crap about the 17th thing either. But we also know about the injuries and everything that went on in that season. People outside the club might not recognise it as badly as we do because we were living it, but we're here now, and this is the kind of thing I'm sort of stuck on, which is I am being told by Thomas Frank in every press conference, and I'm being told by every journalist following the club, we're doing so much better than last year, because last year we were 17th. And yeah,
it's not over yet.
But yeah, if you do a direct comparison between where we were and where we are now,
we're about 12th, weren't
we were actually doing better last year. Like our goal difference was better. Like we conceded less, and yet I'm constantly told Ange couldn't coach a defence. And during that period, we conceded less. We didn't have Romero or Van Ven. In fact, for 3 of the games where we can, including beating Brentford 2-0 under Thomas Frank, by the way, we had Archie Gray and Ben Davies as our centre backs.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. Like the whole notion.
The whole Brentford game is a false dawn because we weren't great. I know we were so much better than Brentford on that day, but like I thought, yeah, great, we've won and Xavi's turned up, blah blah blah. But I didn't go away thinking that's going to turn our season around. No. And then playing that bunch in the Champions
Slavia
League,
Praha,
that's them. It like that again. Like we should. People, have a go at me because I expect my team to play well and to beat sides like that. But that's what we should be doing. And I know a lot of other fans will be like, Tottenham fans are all, you listen to Simon Jordan, and he's like, you just got to accept the fact that where you are. And I get what they mean, but I don't want to accept the fact that, we've got no economic reason why we shouldn't be up there with the top 6.
No.
So it has to be either the management in terms of who we're buying, who we're recruiting, or the decisions we're making about going into a game. I mean, that was the worst London derby I've ever witnessed.
Which one?
The recent one.
Yeah.
The
North London.
What I would call the London derby. Listen, I know there's Chelsea and there's other idiots, but the one with Arsenal, I go and have a go at them.
Yeah.
That's the way that they get beat. They don't kick them, do all that, whatever it takes, but. Go and have a go at them. And there's this thing of don't go and play against Arsenal because they'll love that. They'll pick you off. If you're playing so well against them that that they're being pushed back and back and back and back, which they don't like, then it wouldn't be the case. No, just in case people are screaming at the podcast, by the way, it was Paul Stewart got the winner in 1991.
Yeah, no, I know. No, it wasn't the winner, it was the equaliser.
Yeah. And then Walker got
and Des Walker scored a great goal.
Yeah, which was divine retribution, seeing as it was Mabbott who got the end goal in 1987, made me cry like a baby for weeks on end. And I won't set foot in Coventry.
No, shithole. Horrible place. And welcome all our listeners in commentary. Look, I'm gonna hand the show over now because we get listeners sending in questions and stuff like that. Now, sod's law is me and you have probably just answered a shitload of them without realising it. But
well, that's good.
But that's always good for a crack. So let's hand it over now to them.
Now it's time for your comments from our social media.
So we've had an email come in. An email's from a guy called Jake Bennett, and Jake says, "I know you discussed last week that you think Frank should go." This is to me. Who would you like to see get the job? Personally, I'd like to see if Pochettino would be open to coming back after the World Cup. Aside from that, I don't really know who I would want. Because I mean, I'll take the first part because it was aimed at me. Yeah, I have said that. My opinion is, I keep reading this thing about if you keep chopping and changing managers, changing directions. I completely agree with that, but only if you're going in the right direction. And what I mean is, like, sacking Ange for me was madness because we were going in a direction I liked. I liked that style of football. I liked his personality, the way he managed the players. I saw a togetherness from the players, which I don't see now. Like, they're having a go at each other all the time. Last season, even though the results were awful, they were just one united block. They'd have run through walls for him. I think they still would. So that was a direction I believed in and should have been backed. That's my view.
Here's a question for you then.
Yeah, go on.
Now Levy's gone.
Yeah.
If Ange said, "I'll come back,"
yeah. I
would you?
Yeah, I would. It purely because I think, ironically, or not ironic, the players we've signed suit him more than they suit Thomas Frank, which is a mad statement to make.
Well, how long have we been rumoured around Xavi Simons?
Yeah.
So that's that was a club signing.
Yeah, I mean, he was what, third choice, and I think it was because it was a signing of opportunity. We scouted him for a long time, kept an eye on him for a long time. He was linked heavily to Chelsea. The deal didn't happen, and we jumped in on that. But that was only after missing out on a player which Frank wanted in Morgan Gibbs-White, and then another player that he wanted in SA, and then we've ended up, going with the player that we had well scouted, that probably was well scouted because it suited Ange Ball to a T. Palhinha was a player Ange was screaming for last season, and a consistent defensive midfielder who can cover the fullbacks. It's not rocket science. You play inverted fullbacks, you're leaving a gap. You need to have a defensive midfielder with a brain cell who knows, all right, Jed's gone in there.
Into a back three.
Yeah, bang, exactly. And yet you watch Basuma last season, the bloke just couldn't do it. Like, just like
he's dead in the balloons, isn't he?
Yeah, he's well into them. But yeah, so Jake, for me, if you're going to stick with Thomas Frank for the season, like, let's say you've adopted a mindset of we're giving him the year, we want to see what can happen. I personally, unless things improve dramatically, and I don't necessarily mean results, but just like we can now see a pattern, we can now see the football, we now see the direction. I hold my hands up and say, okay, right, let's see what he can do. If it stays the way it is, I think he has to go. I think the club just has to say, right, this direction we're heading in isn't working. I think the obvious thing for the rebranded ownership to do is to try and talk Pochettino into returning. The big obstacle to him returning in the past was certain members of the board that didn't like him. That wasn't Daniel Levy, by the way. Daniel Levy and him still have an amazing relationship. Ironically, that might be now a hurdle for him to return, is the fact Daniel's not there. Which is probably be the only manager in our history that would be the case for. But yeah, so that's an interesting one. And the thing with that is I think the fans would give him a chance. Would like, okay, we know you can do this job, so we're going to give you the chance to do it. I think too many other managers won't get that chance because the patience, we've been asked for patience so many times, and like now we've run out completely. Sorry, mate, go on.
Yes, whoever comes in now, right, and I put Thomas in this.
Yeah.
Because of the shit show decisions that have been made over the last, however, 10, 15 years, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like if you're putting your hand in someone's mouth as a dentist, right, and they've got an abscess, right, you're gonna touch a nerve like pretty quick, and it's like, oh Christ, I haven't got the leeway to do this. So I think the minute, because like I'm gonna say his name, right, Nuno, right, now he wasn't right for us. He wasn't right for us.
If I don't play that, people complain. Go on.
I bloody said it, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying he was right for us, all right? But he walked through the door and he was already on borrowed time. We haven't kicked a ball.
Yeah, that was down to the board. You can't make it obvious he's the 10th choice and not expect the fans to treat him like that.
And my only concern now is, like, so let's say, because I know from standing at the ground that the fan base are split on the Pochettino thing.
Yeah.
The romantic notion of the Messiah coming home.
Yeah.
And like I didn't like the way he was exited either.
No.
But the thought of that is like, oh yeah, the good times will come flowing back. But that's not necessarily true, in that if you look at the jobs, I mean, he's just turning the USA around, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was on he was on a no hope with Chelsea.
It's interesting because that is where I'm 50-50 on it, is because he went to Chelsea. Like, my brain has this kind of, bless him, he realised the only way he could get back to us is to become an ex-Chelsea manager, because that's the only people we hire. That's how, if he comes back, that's how I justify it, like, to get over that. But there is an element of me which is, you took that job knowing the fan base, knowing the affection that they held for you, knowing the issues between Tottenham and Chelsea, and then you stood there wearing their colours, saying they're the biggest club in London.
Yeah, but wounded animal and all that, innit?
Yeah, I said, I know, because I'm fickle as a football fan, I would get over it, and how I would justify it is to pretend.
Well, you'd only get over it if you won games.
Massively, yeah, but that's the same. But my point on that is, I genuinely think he'd be given a chance because of who he is. Whereas I don't think other people would, unless they've got name recognition.
Yeah, but like, let's take Poch out of it.
Yeah.
Where do you go? Like, if you think of the last, and again, taking Poch out of it, but even Poch, you look at the Walker Rose bombing down both wings, right, as fullbacks, and you got super fan Vertonghen and Tope.
Yeah.
That I look at our back four now.
Yeah.
And they're like those four.
They are. They really are. Yeah.
But I hear things like Porro bombs forward, therefore you can't play Porro and a Doggy. Because you look at a Doggy before he came to us, and when he came to us, like, he was scoring goals left, right, and centre.
It's a wing back.
Wing back. So let's say I'm not suggesting we do this, but someone like Harry Redknapp came in and went, right, you two, go on your bike.
Yeah.
Van der Ven, QT, you just hold tight for us. Polinia, you do what Eric Dyer did, or whatever. It's like, so Poch in that respect, because the board now need to make a decision based on the players that are there, I think.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and that's the problem, I think. See, Daniel Levy fired Ange, brought in Thomas Frank, And this, to me, is where Daniel Levy had this massive disconnect to the football side of the club. Because anyone who with a footballing brain should have been there and gone, this squad we were moving it to play this type of football. We were signing young players. We've been doing all this. The academy's bringing through players to play Ange ball. To make a change, we need to be bringing in someone who is similar in style. Otherwise, all of that's going to go to waste and we're going to spend fortunes trying to correct it. And it's going to take time. Yeah, just someone who can take what's there, adapt it to their own niche, if you like. But you were just talking about like Poch and you looking at the squad now. I would say he could walk in today and we would be better playing his system within a few weeks. I think you'd see Porro and Udogie, assuming everyone's fit for a moment, you'd see them suddenly look like better players. You'd see Van de Ven and Romero enjoying their football. You'd see Palhinha enjoying his football because Palhinha has that defensive midfielder discipline to slot in. And I think there is no better player to learn from for Archie Gray, because Archie Gray can play fullback. We've seen that. He can come into that role and cover them all day long as well. He just having that discipline, that mental, because Eric Dyer didn't have that. That was Pochettino and his coaches. That was them drilling it on the training ground, day in, day night. Right, Danny goes, where do you go? Left back. Kyle's gone, where do you go? Right back. It was that simple. You cover.
So if you take that, Pochettino, right. So what would you say Pochettino's best 11 were?
You'd say obviously Lloris in goal, Toby and Jan, Danny and Kyle. Then you'd go into the midfield. I'd actually not put Dyer. I'd say Wanyama because he did the job better, but did the same job. Dembele, Ericsson, and then Son, Kane, Dele.
Right. So now you go like for like. So Vicario and Lloris, I get that.
No.
Right.
Similar shot stopper, but he doesn't have that same presence without a doubt.
So let's say Lloris wins that battle, right? Yeah. Now you go across the back four, Porro, Walker. On his day,
that's difficult.
Difficult one.
It's difficult, but I'd probably still give it to Kyle at the moment. Just he has that little bit. See, it's difficult because Kyle Walker did a lot of brainless shit that his pace bailed him out of. Porro does a lot.
Happens with Porro,
which he does a lot of brainless shit, but doesn't quite have that same pace. So I'd probably give it to Kyle on that.
Okay, so rather than us sit and go, who was better, who was worse, right? Are they similar?
Yeah,
Porro and
Kyle
Walker, yes, they are. And Doggy Rose, yes, they are. The two centre halves, absolutely. So you've gone Wanyama.
Yeah.
Who have we got?
Palhinha. Yeah, very similar.
Brilliant. So who have we got who's a ball carrier in that number sort of 8 Dembele type role? Who could do that? I'd probably say
the best player for that in our squad is Bergvall.
Bergvall is exactly what I said just now. Yeah. Who can play? Ericsson's a bit of a
Madison, or Xavi, because what you said earlier on about the fact that Ericsson would show up wide because him and Dele would interchange stuff like that. Madison probably
he comes out to the left. Xavi Madison,
yeah. So I think either of them in that role would work.
Yeah, but even you could because for me, if you look at Simmons, he's got a bit of bite about him too.
He does,
I know he's just getting used to but in the last few games he started kicking people, which I like.
Yeah, me too.
You could almost put him in Dembele's role and put Madison in Ericsson.
I think he'd struggle there. I know what you're saying, but you look at Bergvall in the last year and the bulk up he's done.
Yeah, I love that.
That's why I think he suits that more.
So who played on the right, Ericsson?
Who played on the right?
Yeah.
It was Dele, really, but he wasn't really out wide right. He was kind of tucked
exactly.
In.
So you could even you wouldn't want to play there, but so who keeps the ball better than anybody in our team right now? Who's a bit like Dembele?
I don't think we have anyone to compare to Dembele, but keeping the ball.
Who can you not get the ball off of? And he's strong as fuck.
Kulusevski. when he's fit.
Or what about Mo?
Yeah.
I'm just going through players because I'm thinking if Potts came in,
Yeah.
how could he play that same system with the players that we've got? Now we haven't got Harry Kane, right?
No, but what was
and we haven't got Sonny.
interesting, what was always interesting for me, and this is something again that I go over with the Thomas Frank thing, is when the system's working, you don't need, like, Harry Kane wasn't Harry Kane before playing in that system, and I mean, he developed himself. Like, it's no magical system that made him look good. He worked and worked and worked, but when he came in, it was very much a system built around him and the players and getting the best out of them. And he,
Yeah.
you know, he was a launch pad for him. But Dominic Solanke, genuinely, under Ange, for example, and I think in that system, I actually think under Thomas Frank as well, would score plenty of goals. I think he is a good finisher, a good striker.
Yeah, and I agree. It's like my worry with Dom is it's like, what's going on with him?
Well, there's
Nobody's
a lot
telling us. That's the issue.
Yeah,
and
when it's silent, you get the crazy rumours, which I like. Like, failed a drugs test is my favourite. The club administered something to him, which was on the ban list, so it's the club's fault, and there's tension there. That's another good one. My personal favourite is like the manager just don't like him, so it's like, yeah, he's injured. Like there'd be enough. Like, no one would leak that story if that wasn't true. I like that. Like the player himself wouldn't be like doing star jumps on Instagram. Like, look, I'm fine. So yeah, there's a lot of mad shit when it's quiet. I kind of get it with the injuries because injuries can take time. They can develop. You can like pull muscles and stuff when you're rehabbing, and just so it takes longer. And these coaches and managers are the only ones put to the press. I always feel like that's shit. Like, different aspects of the club should have their own press officer. The medical department should have a press officer that the journalists go to. Like, why is it the manager, like Thomas Frank, anyone who's there is like, okay, can you update us on this injury?
Well, how many years in med school did he do?
Yeah, it's like, he seemed all right. I spoke to him earlier. He seemed fine. And then the article is, seemed fine, back next week. It's like, that's not what he said. Like, he doesn't know.
And, you know, it's like, you could argue he should know, right? Or he should get that information. But,
but then that's the club.
He's not a medical guy, is he? So,
like, and also the physios, like, oh, you know, have you got a time scale? Nope. Okay, what shall I tell the press? Tell them we got no time scale. He says that to the press, they go friggin' mental. Oh,
well, they make up shit. That's the problem.
No, Madison suddenly doesn't have a timescale, whereas a month ago you said it'd be 6 weeks. Well, that's because they told me. Like, it is a nonsense, but it can become like this real all-encompassing kind of crazy thing. Look, we've kind of got completely off on a tangent, and we got a load of questions here, so I need to.
But going back to that team,
yeah,
like Mwani could do a Son job.
Oh, easily.
Given time, or Tell, if you watch him for France, the boy just needs some time.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, you know, he can be frustrating, but you see what he does for France, and you think, well, there is a player there.
And Odegaard. Like, can you think of a coach in our recent history or any history who's got a better record with young players?
Mm-hmm.
No. So Berval, Gray, Odegaard, Tell. These are players that he would absolutely, he would get them firing. So, yeah, there is an element of nostalgia and an element of, I'd love to relive that period, but there's also a real practical thing of, I think he is the best person for the job.
Well, look at the team and pick the guy for the team. And there isn't really anyone.
However,
I mean, you could argue, go and get Alonso. He's getting a shitty end of the stick, he's not proved over here.
He's not. You know? However, the big thing with Poch is he is 100% unavailable till after the World Cup. So that would mean that you would have to make that decision that you're so for me, we're about to go into a January transfer window. If I am the owners of this club, or I'm running this football club right now, and I am unsure about Thomas Frank, do I want to spend big on his vision? Probably not. But you've also got this issue where you've told the fans, we're new, we want to win, we're backing the manager, we're doing this. you're kind of in a problem there because you've backed yourself in the corner. Now, you could fire him and then try and put someone on an interim basis till the summer and say, look, there's no one available right now that we consider to be a top candidate. Therefore, we're appointing this person who's going to be the interim manager for the rest of the season. And you appoint...
Well, his assistant's just going to go off and manage someone, isn't he?
Well, Matty Wells, yeah. Now, again, and this is another thing of like, that's a mad thing.
Say to Matty, look, take this till the end of the season. We're going to get Poching.
And by the way, Matt Wells is a very offensive-minded coach. He is, he's the grandson of like Cliff Jones. He is Tottenham through and through. The fact he is ready to walk after 2 seasons working under Ange, he's now working under Thomas, and he's like, nah, actually, I'll go manage myself in MLS.
Abu Dhabi or wherever.
He's had a lot of opportunities in the last couple of years to go and be the top guy in an English club or various clubs. For him to suddenly just randomly want to go off to Colorado, I think it is bizarre to me. Like
he loves Spurs.
Oh,
and
yeah. He is.
I'm not saying he's ready now, but you've almost got to do. I don't want to mention poor Ryan because I think actually Ryan gets a bit of a shitty end of the stick as well because he doesn't come in and he isn't the Messiah. No. It's like and Matty would be the same. It'd be a case of look, we want you to develop.
Yeah.
And one day, and we will make it that you will be a part of Poch's team.
Which he would be, without a doubt, because he worked under Poch as an academy coach when Pochettino was there the first time. He'd know him and want him around, and their styles. And this is my point: is if you make that call in your mind, but I don't think they are. I think they are in a position where they're just going to double down and back because, like you said, the guy now in charge is of a mindset of, we stuck with the guy at the club I was at last time and it worked out. So therefore I'm going to back this guy and it'll work out.
Then they got to throw all their eggs in that basket.
Then they have, which probably means big squad changes. Players who I rate probably need to leave and players who I probably won't rate need to come in because they need to play a different style. And it's a style I don't like. But that if you're going to do that, then you've got to do it. Right, we need to get back to these questions because otherwise the podcast is going to run for a year. Thomas Beattie says, why are we so shit? Great question, well structured.
What, me and you or Tottenham?
Yeah, I think it was aimed purely at you. I think he knew you were coming on the show.
Why are you so shit, Rob?
Yeah. Oh, well, what can I say?
I was born that way. I blame my dad.
Yeah. Peter Robinson says, what are the stats on our defence this season compared to last year when Romero and Van de Ven were out for so long? Also, I really didn't agree with the booing of Vicario the other week, and although that was bad, no one has even mentioned the abuse, which I've no doubt was shouted at him, which is even more disgusting and disappointed. If Frank does get the sack, who, in your opinion, is a proper project manager? Okay, we've kind of just answered this, Peter, so I hope we've answered it ahead of time. And I think Stuart Goldman says, why have we attempted 700 plus long balls this season when our front three cannot hold the ball up? That's something me and you have talked about so much. It's like, let's just ping a long ball to Richie, who just does not have that ability whatsoever. And it's easy handing the ball back
to answer the question in that in midfield, we've been playing 2 holding midfielders that have not got that little pass round the corner or that through ball or whatever. Yeah. So what happens is you get the like Akuti who actually can ping a pass, a bit like Toad.
Yeah.
Who goes, what's on here? Fuck, I'll bypass the midfielder. Our job for Polinia and at the moment is to just watch this fucking thing go over his head.
Yep.
A lot of the time because it's
go over his head and then defend again because he ain't getting a break because it's non-stop. You're just handing the ball back to him all the time.
Yeah, because we haven't got an option, so we just ping it long, and it's like we're not Wimbledon. It's
the good old days.
But the thing with Wimbledon is they're Big John Fashioner at the top, who could hold it up. Luton, Mick Harford. I mean, I know I'm talking ancient stuff because I'm ancient, but
there's plenty of people
that
like
was
that.
the way we played, or they played.
Yeah, and it was shite to watch, by the way.
But we haven't got that. We haven't got that guy up front.
No, so
even when we had a guy like that up front, we didn't play it with Peter Crouch.
Oh, I miss Peter. Right, so we got Barry Fowles says, it feels like the fans have turned and have joined those of us who didn't want Frank in the first place. But what are the options out there? I mean, we've just discussed this. You mentioned Pochettino as well. You did say that you liked the manager Areola at Bournemouth. However, they are 2 places worse off than us at the moment. I think the debate on that is around the style of play. I like the way they play. I don't like the way we play or the way Brentford played. So that was why I would have picked him. Because again,
and also you've got to remember they've had the guts ripped out of that side, and
about to have more done as well.
Yeah, exactly.
James McConnell just says, "Why do we sign so many bad players?" I mean, yeah, that's. I don't know.
Who have we signed bad? In that opinion,
it's subjective because I don't think we have. I think our recruitment for a little while individually has been quite good. However, I don't think we've recruited well for our managers. So Ange Postecoglou going into his second season had a smaller squad than he went into his first, even though he had an extra competition to play. That's madness. And the players that were signed were kids. Like, he had one first-team player added to the squad in that summer. That was Dom Solanke. The rest were Berval Gray, who were phenomenal talents, but were not ready for Premier League week in, week out, even though they then had to be.
But if your remit is to sign these young players, right?
Yeah.
Because they have potential.
Massive upside, yeah.
Like, from you know, I played professional football when I was a kid.
Yeah.
The only way that I got better was playing in the best level I could.
Yeah.
And I learned from fucking things up.
But just remember Ange last season saying these players are going to be phenomenal for this experience.
And he actually said, I'll be pissed off if I don't get the benefits of this.
and he's not. He was absolutely right.
You know, which is why it's that thing of, like I said to you earlier on, if fans said he'd come back, would you have him?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I think he's right. Like Bergvall, Gray, Tell, Odegaard, those 4 players, and Kinski, you can put in that. Those 5 players, like, I hate this, say it, but like, chuck those 5 in and go, because can't do anything worse than we're doing.
Oh, I don't know. Things can always get worse. That's what Oder SFK stands for. And things can always be worse.
But the thing is like, you look at like Gray last year. Like, it was sink or swim with that poor sod.
Yeah.
And he swam. In a position that wasn't his.
Nope.
You know, so you give him the same amount of time in his position. Bergvall, I think, was our player of the year last year.
Yeah, one of,
why is he not playing?
No, that is a mystery to me.
You know, so give those kids that time. Like everyone's going, we're struggling on the left. We're struggling on the left. All right. Well, if we're struggling on the left, we might as well struggle with Tell and see if he gets better.
Which again is where my head is. It's like if we're
Odegaard.
Yeah, I mean my issue at the moment is I don't see a structure and a pattern of play to create chances. So it feels like I could put Messi in this team in his prime and we'd still struggle, because what's Messi going to do with the ball being kicked over his head and then the players running it straight back past him again? You know, it's like you have to look at a way of creating chances. I knew under all those managers I listed before how we were going to create chances. And I just don't see it at all. Like, I have no idea. It is either a set piece or a moment from a player. That's it. Like, Kudus has had a very good season, but he's now being double marked every time he's got the ball. The thing that drives me mad about that is if there are 2 people on him out constantly, there's space. So what's going on? Like, where's
Where's
this?
the runners?
Yeah, where's this incredible tactical adjustments I was told that this guy could do, which is, all right, every game now, when the ball goes to Mohamed, he's getting swamped. So therefore, let's get some people running off him. Let's get some people running into the space that's being created. Because the minute you start doing that, they got to leave him. And then the minute you leave him, he can be dangerous again. It just, like, I'm not a professional football coach. I'm just a fan. But there's so many things that feel obvious.
But this is where that 100% thing comes in.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure Frank is a tactical genius for Brentford.
Yeah.
And, you know, for a mid-table side, which, where are we?
Yeah, well, we are a mid-table side, yeah.
And that's, you know, and that's not, you know, I like, you know, I know you don't, but I like him.
Yeah, I know.
I listen to him. My only, you know, sometimes when I listen to him, I think, you know, because bless him, he says he's trying to change the whole culture within the club, and without culture, you can't have. And he's right. You know, you got to make an environment in the right space for people to perform, whether that's in business, whatever.
I get that, but that really annoyed me, that quote. We won the Europa League, right? So we had a manager in charge, created a winning culture. Our ownership then sacks the guy that created it. The guy who made that decision then gets sacked himself. So, like, this is the madness of this football club. Daniel Levy ran the club. He fires the guy who finally created a winning culture at the club because of league place, because 17th isn't acceptable. Winning a trophy, getting champion, like at the start of the season, win a trophy, get me in the Champions League would have been the remit. Because he didn't do that in the top four.
Knew he was on his way out.
Oh, he didn't. He didn't have a clue. On the day he was ousted, he had meetings set for the whole day.
See, I don't doubt that, right? But I commit when he did that interview with Gary Neville, which he never did interviews.
No, that was weird. Yeah,
I thought, ooh, like you're got one eye over your shoulder here, aren't you?
I think he did that. I think he knew something was coming because I don't think he's daft. But
that's what I mean by I think he knew.
But if you look at this chain of events, then so talk about a culture and everything at the club finally to win something. Like again, go to that interview with Mickey talking about run through walls. When Ange spoke, it hit you like we were ready to do this. He said we're not fucking losing this, and we didn't. You know, you see all that. It's like okay, so we developed that mentality. Then you got the guy, he gets fired. He then appoints someone else who's, like you said, a mid-table manager. Therefore, he then comes in and he's talking to those players, that squad of players. Do you not think, and you've been in this environment, do you not think they're now looking at him going, we just won the Europa League, something you've never even managed in, and you're sat here and all you've ever done is achieve mid-table, and you're there telling us that our culture's wrong, what we do is wrong, our mentality's shit. Because I look at this squad right now and they look pissed off. You see that moment with Mickey a couple of games ago, like the manager sends a note on and Mickey, like he cannot hide the disgust on his face. Whatever that note said pissed him off.
Footballers are fickle.
Yeah.
To you know, if they hadn't have won the Europa League, blah blah blah. Like they are, and you're right that like they are now being led. So a team of winners, are being led by mediocrity.
Yeah.
Now that's not my opinion.
No,
it's just fact. Like, what have you won, Thomas? You won promotion from the Championship. Well, yeah, great. And, you know, whatever. And you've produced players and you've brought players on and whatever. But we've just won. Like, we're still hungover from the fucking party we had. And, you know, I think what was really telling is, like, when during the parade and on the balcony and all the rest of it, where was Daniel?
Oh, nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Yeah.
And I think, like, for a start, I think like he said in that interview, and I thought, oh, you know it's coming, when he said, because I think he asked him, do you think Spurs fans appreciate you? And he said they won't until I'm not here.
Well, there's a good question. Do you miss him?
Do I miss Daniel Levy? It's a weird. I
think he would have sacked him by now. So yes.
It's like, do I miss my ex-wives?
No, but your aim's improving. Yeah.
I think what you had with Daniel Levy, because we talk about identity, right?
Yeah.
Our identity under him was we're not going to be fucked over by you lot.
No.
Anybody. We're not going to be held to ransom. We will sell someone when we want to sell them. And actually, if they come at me, I'll stick them and get them to rot in the reserves, right? Yep. Now, whether that's right or wrong, it was something you could rely on.
Yeah.
And you could also rely on him to make a decision, even if it was the wrong one. Yeah. So in that respect, it's like, I think that the problem we've got at the moment is, I said before he was sacked, careful what you wish for, because we've got a rudderless ship at the moment. It feels like.
Yeah, it does feel that way.
And like Vinay, when he came in, I thought, this guy, he's, but they stuck the other dude above him in, and they're just getting this guy from Man City, aren't they?
Yeah.
So maybe that will, because it needs, like Jim Radcliffe, right? He's the chairman of Man United, isn't he? But he's not. Yeah. He's not the main money man. But he is the face of Man United now. Now, whether they're doing well or not, he still is the face of it.
Yeah.
Sheikh, whatever his name is in Man City, who he is. Yeah. There's. I think there needs to be a figurehead and somebody who goes, because listen, democracy is brilliant as long as there's an evil dictator in charge. Because
we've just really taken a step.
because and what I mean by that is like, and again I'll come back to the bands, is like there needs to be one person within my band who make
Tottenham
decisions.
Great again. Is this where we're going?
it's somebody who needs to make a decision, whether that's a popular one or not. And one thing you could say for him, he would always make those decisions, and you got to hand it to him. He sat in that stadium most games, being hated on, because I think he genuinely cared about Tottenham.
I think he cared. I think he I think in years to come there will be a more appreciative of the work he did. I think that is true. I think that's fair. I think
what he should have done was go, I'm not going to be in charge of footballing decisions, but I'm going to make this club.
Yeah, he unfortunately, I think, and a lot of us have this feeling, he's a control freak. I think I'd be the same. Even if I didn't like, because if I won, I'm in America, I win the Powerball, it's like $1 billion, whatever it is, and I get all this investment, and I buy Tottenham. I'm a fan. I'm not I've never worked in football, but I'd
we all play Football Manager, though, right?
Exactly. I'd think, I know what I'm doing with this. And he was kind of put into that position where I think because the only time, it was weird because his wife was unwell and he had Baresi as the director of football, and it was spending the Gareth Bale money, and it didn't work out. And I think because of that, I think he would never let that go then. I think because he saw that as the one time I handed footballing control to somebody else. I personally think that was a combination of things that meant that didn't work out, including who the head coach was, just the various things, which again, you can point to him on. But I think after that happened, he just kind of, nope, I'm going to run this with an iron fist. I'm going to rule this. You want to sign someone? Yeah, okay, come to me. Because he kept appointing directors of football, and they kept quitting because they didn't want to work with him. I remember like Mitchell joined with Pochettino from Southampton. He didn't even last a year. Like he was screaming like, "This is a nightmare. I need to be able to do my job. I'm coming to you with this is the guy. This is how much." And you're going, offer him half. No, I've done my job. Like, my job is to tell you, this is the player that ticks all the boxes and this is the price. Like, we have the money. Yeah, all right, offer them half. No! Like, it's not how it works.
The problem is, I mean, you take because you mentioned it, the Bell money, right? I mean, that's a poison chalice. Whatever you did with that money wasn't going to be what we were losing.
No.
You know? And all right, yeah, there was a few horrendous balls ups in it. But even if they'd have signed someone who'd gone on to be like, even if they had signed Sonny with that money, right? Yes, eventually you go, yeah, he's a legend. But you think of the guy who was going out the door.
You cannot. So there's this amazing film. I don't know if you've seen it, called Moneyball.
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay, it's a film about. It's a real true story about a baseball team completely changing how they recruited. So they were one of the small teams, and basically they had a player who would hit so many home runs and all this stuff. I don't know baseball, by the way. For our American listeners, I'm about to make you scream. And he'd get so many home runs and stuff like that. And they were like, okay, well, we've just lost him to one of the big sides. What do we do now? And all the scouts were like, okay, we're going to go try and find another version of him. And this guy came along and he said, no, that's impossible. What we need to do, because we can't afford a guy that good, is we need to recreate him in the average. So if we go to this, like Bale got 21 league goals. We signed Soldado, who had scored for 4 seasons in a row in La Liga over 20 league goals for 4 seasons in a row. He fit our system perfectly. He fit the Premier League great. Everything about that guy was he was going to be a success in England.
It just didn't work.
Well, his wife lost their baby when they were 3 months here, blamed him for the move, and he completely, like, the whole family dynamic, like, his off-field life was hell for a year. Like, all of that is now in the public domain. You can learn about it. Like, there's books and stuff, which at the time no one knew.
Who knew that?
No one knew.
You
cannot legislate for that. No. But my point is like, if he had come in, like we just said, and he does hit the ground running like he was doing in Spain, and let's say he would then replicate the goals that Bale had scored for us. That's a striker of 20 goals. And that means all those other players that came in on that, which included Ericsson, by the way, Nasser Chadley, who would contribute goals all the time. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, that was fantastic. Like, what incredible business Tottenham did in that window. But that's the kind of margins, and that's the kind of stuff you cannot legislate for, but you are judged and hammered on. And I mean, that's sport, I know it is, but that's the kind of stuff, because like me and you, like you mentioned Football Manager a minute ago, so many people play FIFA, play Football Manager, play these games, and you sign these players in the games. There's no life aspect to the signings. Like Morgan Gibbs-White this summer, we paid a release clause and their chairman refused to allow it to happen. Even though the release clause was triggered, he threatened court action, he did everything. The player then had a choice. He could absolutely kick off and force the move, or he could stay where he was. His missus was pregnant, they were in the area they wanted to be. He decided to sign a new deal, make life a lot easier for himself and his family. If that guy had been single, or his missus was from London, maybe he'd have kicked off, gone on strike and forced the move. Like you don't know. Like there's so many factors to transfers and things that you can't legislate for. But everyone always has that kind of mentality of, oh, just pay the money and it's done. Well, no, the guy might not want to live in London. Like his family might not want to move country. Like it isn't that simple.
You know, and I think it's fairly obvious that Mr. Marinakis
is a crime boss.
made it more than awkward.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
So it's like, and when you've got a new family on the way, you know, talking from someone who's had a child, and I know you have yourself, it's like you got to think about everything.
Yeah, you don't need
like say if you're a single bloke and you just want to kick a bag of wind round, you know, for a few million quid, then yeah, great. I know when I was playing football, it was I didn't have anybody, I didn't care.
No. So let's gonna wrap the podcast now. with one final thing which is sent to me today, and I just want to get your view on. So we've got upcoming home games. I think it's Newcastle, Dortmund, and one other home game. And the club have put tickets on general sale and have also emailed season ticket holders and members to gift tickets to friends this Christmas. This has then led to an article which is that this is now the lowest demand for tickets at our stadium since the stadium opened. I don't think that's going to shock anyone, but it is actually shocking and it should really be talked about, because we are now not selling out, which is something we were doing regularly. And not only are we not selling out, we are struggling. Like the game against Slavia Praha, roughly, yeah, it's Prague, yeah, roughly 15,000 tickets had sold for that until they announced Sonny was going to be there. And then it made it just above 40,000. That means...
Well, so basically we've got to get Sonny at every game then, is that what I'm saying?
I think that's the only way. But my point is like, the football has been so bad and the prices are so high, the club need to do something. I don't see them dropping the ticket prices. They can do something about the football we're playing.
So... what are you saying? Because, like, listen, Dortmund and Newcastle, right?
Yeah.
That's two. I'd go to those games.
Well, they're available.
Well,
there are so many tickets.
You got a gift from me, haven't you?
Yeah, they're like 65 quid each. Yeah.
You know, which is, it's cheap for us.
Yeah.
What can they do other than sack him?
So, my dream scenario that I think I can sell you on, right? You tell me if you'd go for this. They bring Thomas Frank in for a meeting. They sit him down. They then do the big red door from Graham Norton and he's fired. He goes down a slide into the shit that he came from. And the club then appoint as a temporary manager till the end of the season, Glenn Hoddle.
Well, you know that you don't have to sell that to me, all right? Because he's the greatest player of all time, and I'm not sure his heart could deal with it.
He was also very much ahead of his time coaching wise when you look at it.
Well, I nearly said earlier on, like when we were talking about the Bale thing.
Yeah.
I remember when they sold him to Monaco to that French git.
Yeah.
Which is why I hated him in the first place, and then he became their manager. I was like, "You're kidding me! Like that's like sleeping with my wife and then drinking the beer out of my fridge, you bastard!" All right? I was like, so like when he went, it was the most devastating thing for me.
Yeah.
He's got unfinished business, Glenn.
Yeah.
And he's always said that. And so if you're asking me, would I take that?
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ, yes.
Yes, there we go.
And it would... Like, just let him have free reign. Do what you want.
Yeah, go on.
Bring in Eileen again.
Yeah.
You know?
Bit of faith healing. Yeah.
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 You know, just let him do what he wants.
But
then
vibes.
I would say the same for... sorry to be boring here, but I'd say the same for Matty Wells.
Yeah.
Just like get the kids in. Like, we bought them with a viewpoint. And I would say the same for the likes of Donnelly. Bring him back.
Yeah.
Come on, bring him back. Put Dane Scarlett up front. You know, that kid can score goals.
Yeah, he can, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there are some very, very talented players dotted around our academy. There's some very talented players we've signed. You look at us in mid-table and you sort of look at it and you go, oh, screw it then. Just let them have a crack. But they ain't going to be able to do anything with a coach that cannot create an attacking situation. And you've watched him up to now. He can't. You got to admit that to me. There's just no attacking ability in that side right now.
But to read the way you asked me that question is the same that I said to you. Well, if Ange said he'd come back with you.
Yeah.
There's that team through one medium or another, or one language or another, have all said we love playing with Ange.
Yeah.
So if you're going to make a decision, and even say to Ange, look, Ange, we're going to give it to the end of the season, right?
Yeah.
Finish in the top 6, we'll give you a contract.
Yeah.
We'll give you a contract. We won't go after Poch. We won't do that. It was Daniel's decision.
Well, see, that's the out for the ownership right now. Is completely. They know that they can PR this quite nicely. Daniel Levy's final decision was to sack Ange and bring in Thomas Frank. It hasn't worked, but they'll also know that whoever they appoint is their first. So that will make them nervous, I think. I think that'll make them gun shy. Because like you just said then, and I've been saying about all these different options and these different things, whoever they did replace him with will be on them. And that'll make him nervous, I think. Well,
Levy's first appointment was Glenn Hoddle.
He was, yes. There we go. It's like going back in time.
So, but that was purely. I mean, he right. My opinion right now is these new owners have got a green card, right? Because Levy came in. I mean, George Graham was the manager. He could have appointed Saddam Hussein at that point, and we'd have gone, yay!
Yeah.
Right? The fact he went, club legend, come here.
I mean, Saddam Hussein did have a good record,
Yes, he did.
Couple of big
but
losses.
My point being is now, I'm not saying Thomas Frank is George Graham.
Or Saddam Hussein. Maybe.
Neither. I'd just like to make it clear.
Yeah.
So if he brought in someone on a short-term basis, even but it was someone, and that's why the argument for Robbie Keane, I guess, has come up, because it's like, Christ, who have we got? Who's a Spurs legend who's managing someone? Oh, right, he's in the Mickey Mouse League over there, but it doesn't matter. He's a legend.
Yeah,
chuck him in. Michael Carrick's a good manager.
Yeah,
he's not necessarily a club legend, but there's lots of people out there who could do the job, but.
Yeah.
If it was me and I was going to go after Potts, just leave this on this. Yeah. If I was going to go after Potts because that's what we think we should do, I would say to Matty Wells, look, don't go to Colorado.
Yep.
Get in touch with Potts.
Yep.
Tell him that you're going to hold the reins for him until he's available. If he says yes, he'll do it.
Yeah.
Get him to tell you how he wants you to play.
Yep.
You worked with him before. You know how this works.
Yeah.
Get us to the end of the season, still in as high up as we possibly can. Yeah. You'll get a new contract. You'll be his assistant, and he'll come in. Do that.
Because the other part of that, of course, is Pochettino's contract ends with the USA after the World Cup. There is no reason you cannot announce him now. You could make the move. You could make the move. Right, this is what we are doing. He is joining us when the World Cup's done. Until then, from afar, Matty Wells, who will become his assistant, is going to be in charge, and therefore signings, both in January...
will be Poch's signings.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think the club are smart enough to do that.
Is it smart, or are they just scared?
Little from column A, little from column B. I think what you've got now is a real clamouring from a number of fans, who I respect, that we can't keep chopping and changing. I get that, because I was saying that last year.
They're not wrong. You're not wrong. You weren't wrong.
But there is this element which, for me, and it is a very personal thing, it's an opinion thing, this football is so bad, please, please, please change it. Because if you are going to learn the lessons from let's not keep chopping and changing, please learn that on a manager that plays football, because this is awful. The fans are staying away. It is awful. You do, sorry, because you got me wrong now. Yeah.
Or you say to Thomas Frank, listen, if you don't do this, right, And because he has played attacking football in the past, if you don't find a way to do this, your goose is cooked.
We're going to find.
I need to, I need to see in the next 2 months, progression, or else, sorry, love, you down the road. And you're allowed to, like, because there'll be a lot of, I'm thinking of certain people on other podcasts and stuff who are all Thomas Frank, and I get it. When he came in, I wanted him to work as well.
Yeah.
But it's like things change.
Yeah.
I've gone into relationships with women thinking, actually, this is exactly what I need right now. And then later on, I've gone, actually, I've changed. Oh, fuck it. Right. She doesn't fit my place, whatever. And I've left. And you've been like, you haven't done anything wrong, love. You don't fit my place. And I think Thomas Frank is a classic example of that. He hasn't really done anything wrong. He's done Thomas Frank.
Yeah.
Therefore,
which again is this opinion thing, because for me that's very wrong.
That's right.
And he's got to learn to chew with his mouth closed, man. I mean, if he could just do that, maybe I'd give him more time. But I just want to slap the gum out. Anyway, right, we're going to end it here. Mate, thank you so much for joining me today. I think everyone's going to enjoy this. Would you like to come on again sometime? If people are happy for me to be on, I'll be more than happy, yeah. All right, then. So send your feedback to this show. Let us know. Get in touch via all the socials as per usual. We will be back. The show continues to roll. I have another guest host with me next week for the Christmas special. Until next time, everybody, you all take care, and come on, you Spurs.
Thank you for listening to the Spurs News Podcast. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Stay up to date with all things Tottenham. Follow us on social media. All links are in the podcast description.